Good morning, good evening, good day, good afternoon, good night. Thank you for tuning the Random Podcast. The first podcast episode for 2019, Season 1, Episode 4, I guess? Something like that. Anyways, I haven't really, thought of something for this. It wouldn't really be the Random Podcast if I actually thought out the entire fucking episode. That's kind of the perk of it. Like, I can just do it whenever. It doesn't really constrict me to one little thing. But what I can say, and what I do want to say, is that it's something interesting. Like, it's 2019. We're about to hit 2020. There's a lot of things going on in my life, making plans moving forward. And one thing I just want to say, like, as a new year, fuck a New Year's resolution. You want to do something that, only allows you to, do you. Live your life the way you want to. If you find yourself surrounded by people that are always putting you down, that are making it negative, or like you find yourself in a situation where you're unhappy, maybe it's time to ask yourself, like, are you okay with this? Are you content with how things are at the moment? And I know personally, speaking from my own perspective, I don't really, like, I have masochistic tendencies. I know I do. And I like to experience things. I like to go through despair. No, I'm not that chick from Danganronpa. I'm not going to cause the ultimate, most despairing event in the world, but I'm just saying, like, I like to experience life as it is, like, because I feel like without going through the experience, I won't know how it feels. And without knowing how it feels, I won't be able to offer insight, because then I'm just talking out my ass. But with that being said, I don't recommend doing this. I don't recommend doing that for anyone. There's no point in putting yourself in situations where you're fucked. But at the same time, I know how I am. Like, given my upbringing, given how everything played out in my life, it's just one of those things where you have to, like, accept yourself, who you are, and you have to be able to want to move on. You want to be able to, grow as a person. You have to recognize the problem. You have to admit there's a problem, and that's the first step. And this isn't going to be, one of those self-help preaches or speeches or whatever the fuck it's called. I'm just saying how it is. Like, I know personally, like, I was in a abusive relationship for 3 years. I was emotionally abused. I was physically abused. And for a long time, it changed my like, I used to be, like, a realist. Let's just put it like that. I was a realist. Like, I was the type of person, like, given enough time, I could accomplish anything. I just have to bunker down, like, learn establish a proper foundation. I might stumble here and there initially, but I'm able to do it later on. Like, coding, chemistry, physics, stuff like that. But at the same time, you gotta. It's different. Like, I know, personally speaking, I know it's a little personal and TMI, whatever. You can skip later on if you can. I don't know. Basically, I know I have a fear of rejection, and there's nothing I can do about that. But at the same time, because I fear rejection and, like, being disowned from my own family, like, I have a big, how do I say it? I'm sorry. The music I'm listening to is, like, really fucking with me. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. Okay. Anyways. Yeah. Like, out of fear of rejection, like, that kind of perpetuated me, having my own support group of very close friends. I know it's not for everyone. I know I'm a really rash, impulsive person. Otherwise, I'm, like, highly calculated. That's why I'm so indecisive, because I weigh out all the pros and cons. I end up not doing it because, like, I'm not gonna lie. Why would I go out? Like, say for instance, if I had the choice between staying in with a loved one or a group of close friends versus going to a party with a couple acquaintances, seeing the same people, seeing people offer me drugs, try to peer pressure me, saying, "Hey, don't be such a square." And you know, I don't like. I mean, I like dancing, but I don't like the bumping, the grinding that a lot of parties devolve into. Like everyone's a drunken mess, and they just grind on each other, and like that's basically it. Like it's not my type of thing. Like I like dancing in a form of art. I see it as a form of art. Like hands down. Like I respect the craft of dancing. It's beautiful. It's seeing the human body move to music, which is also art, and it's just I'm seeing music in motion, if that makes sense. It does. But anyways, with that being said, I just have to say like if I had the option of, going back to the option of, staying back with close friends or a loved one to go into a party where people try to peer pressure me into drugs, or, you know, it's just going to be a hot, sweaty, drunken mess, people grinding and doing drugs and whatnot, like, I'll choose staying home. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I kicked back and played Dungeons and Dragons over going to high profile parties in my college days, because, like, well, the later part of my college days, because I had a lot of issues early on in college. But once again, this isn't self help. But with that being said, it I just going well yeah, with that being said, like I just want to say, like, I know me as a person, I have a lot to work on. There's nothing. For a long time, I thought like I wouldn't be okay without being in a relationship, because I felt, you know, I need someone with me to be on that journey of like self discovery, to build myself up, and I want someone to be there with me. So when I reach my end goal of, starting a family and everything, it's built up. Like me and that person have a deep bond, but things don't always work out like that. The person that I dated for a few years, they came from a similar background. Like their family wasn't the best family, but they still loved them, and that really vibed with me. Like, you can't choose your family, but you don't have to like them. But that's besides the point. And that person didn't understand, like, how I am as a person. Like, I become emotionally distant. I'm not really. I know I'm highly stubborn. I'm really fucking stubborn. And yeah, I'm the type of person that tries to get the last word in if possible. I am petty. I'm very vindictive. But at the same time, like, because I know my vindictive nature, if I'm with someone that like I deeply care about, it's something that I don't want to, like, perpetuate in the relationship. I try to be more open with them. I try to, you know, I tell them, and like, and it's it's how do I say it? Is it an oxymoron, or is it a paradox? Because I have trouble talking about how I feel, because I always, growing up, I always, anytime, like, that situation, growing up in an all female household, they're like, males aren't supposed to have feelings, males aren't supposed to do this, and it's just like, that's deeply ingrained with me. It's never, I have trouble, to my close friends I known for over a decade, like a few of them I known over a decade, I still can't say, and it's difficult for me to look at them and be like, oh yeah, I love you, as a brother, because that word means a lot to me, because it's not easily given. And but at the same time, it becomes difficult to just like talk about this. I know it's been barely, like, almost over a year since, I well, let's just put it like this. To keep it completely honest with you, I pulled the trigger of breaking up. I left the relationship. It's not that I was left. I chose to leave the relationship because I was at the point in my life where I wanted to be like, am I okay with this? Am I content with the life I'm living right now? I have a shitty job, and my relationship's causing me visible health concerns. You know, I got high blood pressure. I was highly depressed. I was gaining weight. I lost motivation to like actually like I found myself completely different from where I was before because like I always like you know I forgot the reason why I did things. I became like half alive, and it's just it's it's weird seeing me now. Like I cut contact with that person. It was rough. It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. It's rough. When you're emotionally and physically abused, and you have no support group, you have no family to turn to, and the only person you have them, and it's like you feel trapped because if you try to talk to the few friends you do have, it's like they don't want to. It's like the question, like, do you want to see? Are you the type of person to watch a train wreck, or are you the type of person to turn away? And a lot of my friends, for the most part, like they are the type people turn away because they saw me basically choosing to let my life go to shit because I was so intent on keeping a relationship that was negative, that was toxic. And even now, like I still I have trouble. It hurts. It really hurts because now the narrative has shifted. Um, Even though I'm the one that was abused, I was the one that chose like had their life, ruined per se. It's a long story. I'm not going to go into in this one, but with that being said, like I was made a monster, and now in some of my circles, like not friends but acquaintances, they see me as this horrible person that is highly abusive and manipulative, and like I just see myself and I'm like, I don't really know them. Everyone that I was truly close with, like, yeah, they are like, well, you chose to be in that relationship. We can't really stop you, but at the same time, like, we know how you are as a person. We've seen things like some of those events that she described. She was the sole perpetuator. She did this to gain attention. She did this, because she felt you weren't paying enough attention to her, even though you were trying to do stuff to to fix your life. But with that being said, uh, I'm not saying you should, if you think your relationship's toxic, whatnot, you should just leave. I'm saying, your life should never be defined by the person you're with. And some people are like, well, that's a duh. Well, not to everyone. Some people, it's the raison d'etre, the reason to live. And you have to be in that situation. You have to be to fully understand. And me briefly talking about it uh, won't really elaborate if you get what I'm saying. But you know, but not to start the year off on a depressing note. One thing I can say is you know in retrospect, I can say uh, you know playing. I got back into Destiny 2. The game's awesome. I mean, I was a big fan of Destiny 1. Don't get me wrong. Uh, I played a lot. I remember having a little fire team that, we meet up people internationally. It's someone from Canada, someone from like England, someone from Australia, like a couple people from like the East Coast. It was great. It was fucking great. Like we all got together, we kicked some ass, we did Iron Banner, we did raids. Like I remember the Vault of Glass. Like I remember the first time I did the Vault of Glass. Like that feeling of killing what was his name? Ethereum or Theron? Like and getting my first piece of raid gear. Now, a lot of people don't remember. I got the sniper rifle. The raid sniper rifle, Paradise Revenge. I want to say that's what it was called. But like, oh my gosh, it was that satisfying like notification like, oh, you got raid gear. I was like, yes, I got raid gear. Fuck yeah. No, but like just that joy, like it's so great. And then the Fall of Crota raid, Crota's Revenge. Oh, beating that for the first time. And I'm not gonna lie, I was one of the first 50 fire teams to beat Crota's Revenge. Like the Fall of Crota. one of the first 50 fire teams, and it may on hard, and that may not seem a lot, but to me, that's fucking dope. You know, like that's fucking dope. Like I remember like he's I still remember being the Blade Runner because I ran Rogue mostly. I remember them being the Blade Runner, and they're like, "Go, go, Melty, go!" And I was like, "Ah!" And I remember getting the last strike and just be like, "Yes, yes!" And everyone's like, "Oh yes!" And like when we did it, like I was legit in tears because it's like I did it, I did it. Everyone's like, "Fucking go, man!" Like everyone was just like cheering and shit, and it was just that feeling to recreate that moment. Like, oh, oh, it's it gets the blood pumping, and like I don't know, like oh man, I can say like I haven't had that since I went to a local run Melty Blood tournament. I didn't win, but like doing an expedition match against the champion, and everyone was like, "Oh," because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I mainly play an actress again. I mainly run Rugi Shiki from Karen no Kohai, but at the same time, if I can't get her, I use Rugi Shiki, not Naya, not the Demon Slayer one, the normal glasses guy, or I'll run what's her name? The fucking Kung Fu Loli, or the vampire chick that the main character liked before she got turned into vampire. But like real shit. Ooh, that shit was like being able to go toe to toe with the champion. They're like, "Oh, you must have performance anxiety." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not the type. Like, I'm the type of person who, if I'm playing with a group of friends and I know a bunch of tournament tactics or combos where it like basically makes it so you can't really win in a game, I won't use them. Like, is it holding back? Yeah. Does it seem a little bit unfair? In some perspective, but at the end of the day, I play video games to have fun with people. Like, if I wanted to just do a one-sided, like, you can't do shit, and it becomes stupid to play. Like, I demonstrated that in someone, in Smash Brothers, and Project M. Like, there was someone I knew in college. They were like, they really looked up to like, professional Smash Brothers. They're like, blah, blah. And they're like, why don't you do this? I'm like, I don't like tournaments. I don't like I like playing the game for fun. I don't play it for money, in a casual setting. Like, I'm not going to sit there and act like I'm playing for money in a casual setting because it's not fun. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, play me, and I'll play you seriously. And it was a one-sided slaughter. I three-stocked them, and I think I picked Donkey Kong. I just literally they couldn't do anything. At the end of the game, end of the match, the most they can get me to was like, what, 60%? And don't even get me started with Marth. If I picked Marth, they got 30. I just perfectly spaced them. Like, I didn't have to wave dash. I didn't have to do anything. Like, I can wave dash. I'm not proficient with it because I didn't put effort into learning it, but at the same time, I feel it's better to have fun playing video games with your friends, not making them feel like it's a tournament thing. And like, I mean, I understand me and my friends did the rule of loser pass sticks. Okay, that's fun. But it's the rotation. And around the world, you have to pass sticks anyways. But at the same time, like, it's fun. Like, we shit talk each other, left and right. It's not bad. It's not great, but, it's different. It's ultimately different. I remember years later, that guy, he went to tournaments, he trained seriously because he got traumatized and he wanted to beat me. And the entire time he did all this training montage and whatnot, I didn't even play the game. I don't own a Wii. I don't own Smash Brothers. I mean, I can emulate it, but it's not the fucking same thing. So with that being said, he spent all this time just to beat someone that doesn't try to play the game. And when he barely won, he felt accomplished. I'm like, I hope you feel accomplished, because I don't really care. And that just like, it was like a slap in the face. But enough of this rambling. One thing I do want to like say that's kind of awesome. I just want to say, like, it came out, what was it, last year? January last year? Death March to the Moonlight World? No, that's Tsukide no. Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. It's a great fucking series. The light novel's off the fucking chain. The anime didn't show the full potential, but this is the Random Podcast. This is Melty Scarlet, and like always, keep it classy, stay beautiful, and Happy New Year's.